Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Penn State Sports Night. I'm Dugan Lloyd, joined alongside Jeremy Gaines and Andrew Destin, and we look to break down the MLB playoffs and figure out which players to keep an eye out for down the line. Andrew, I'll turn to you. From where you see it, who's going to be hoisting up the Commissioner's Trophy this October?
I think it's going to be whoever wins the American League Championship Series. You look what happened last night. Carlos Correa was able to hit that game-winning homer to tie things up and salvage a game at home. But now you got to go travel for 3 games in New York. 3 road games in the Bronx. It's going to be difficult for the Astros. This is a team that's got superior pitching, but unless they can extend this thing out to a Game 7, which I think is pretty likely, it's going to be between one of the 2 teams. I give the niche maybe a little bit towards the Yankees, but it's simply just because of hitting. Whoever is able to win this ALCS, though, they're going to be the favorite over the Nationals.
Yeah, Andrew, I totally agree with you. On the other side of that spectrum, the Astros also have a great offense, one of the best in the league, but they have the pitching to boot. And right now, it can't be understated how big this Game 3 is. It's going to swing this series. If the Astros are able to win with Garrett Cole, a start that you obviously have to win with how good he's been, then you can make it a little bit easier on yourselves with Brad Peacock potentially coming up and kind of medium-level starters that you might not be able to guarantee a win behind. And then Verlander eventually, you'll be able to eventually win that series if you're able to win this Cole start, I think. But if you're the Yankees, if you beat Cole with Sevy, and then you face those weaker starters for the Astros, now you have a really chance to take this series 7 games and give yourself a chance to go to the World Series. But it all really hinges on that Game 3.
Both are obviously very legit starters. Jeremy, I'll start with you. Which standout player right now is going to carry their team to a ring?
Well, right now, the most important player for the Yankees, I think, is Gary Sanchez. We talk about guys like Aaron Judge, Gio Urshela. They've been performing, but right now, the Yankees need more depth in their lineup, and Gary Sanchez just has not been cutting it with the way he's been hitting, especially you go back to the at-bats that he had last night. He did fight in that last one late in the game against John James, but he needs to be more effective and he needs to get on base. Right now, the way the Astros are pitching, they just need more from him. They need the Gary who can go deep and get them big base hits, and right now he's just not doing what they need out of him, and they need more efficacy from his bat.
Andrew, how do you see it?
I think it's something that you just harped on, Garrett Cole. I mean, what he's done so far in the ALDS for the Tampa Bay Rays, in that matchup, he was able to win 2 games, Game 2 and Game 5, had a sub-1 ERA in that series, and I know we don't do MVPs for the ALDS or NLDS, but Garrett Cole may as well have been in that series, and I anticipate more of the same here. He hasn't gone yet. He's going to go Game 3 tomorrow night against the Yanks in the Bronx, but this guy, 300-plus strikeouts during the regular season, a 2.5 ERA. That trade over from Pittsburgh 2 years back has been huge for the Astros. He's been an ace to this staff that already has Justin Verlander. Garrett Cole's going to be the X factor. He's going to win Game 3 for the Astros, give them that 2-1 series lead.
Flipping the script, who has been overlooked so far that is poised to make a run this playoffs and lead their team to a championship?
If I'm A.J. Hinch, manager of the Houston Astros, it all starts with George Springer. He's the guy who's at the top of your order. He had over 290 this year, had nearly 100 RBIs, and had 30-plus home runs. But so far in the postseason, he's been coming up small potatoes. 29 at-bats, he's only got 4 or 5 hits. This is somebody who has been relied on all year by the Astros. And he's had success in the postseason, too. 2017 World Series MVP, and thus far he's done diddly squat in the playoffs. So if you're the Astros, you'd like to see a little bit more out of your star center fielder.
And I'll give you another guy who has not done much, and we'll flip over to the NL here. The Cardinals need more out of Dexter Fowler. Right now, what he's doing at the plate is simply not enough, especially the way the Nationals are pitching. The Cardinals have a lot of guys struggling at the plate this championship series, but none more than Dexter Fowler, who's batting .069 throughout these whole playoffs and barely getting on base 16% of the time for the playoffs. Right now, this is a guy that they've relied on this past season. Not great average, but he drives and runs for them and is one of those key depth guys that you go up and down the lineup for and ask to get big hits. Right now, he's just not getting them, and they need more hits from him, and he needs to do better, especially as a guy, a veteran you signed here to do big things, coming over from the rival Cubs. He just needs to perform, otherwise they're not going to be moving on.
Definitely. Well, time will tell for Springer and Fowler. Unfortunately for us at Sports Night, our time is all up. For Jeremy Gaines, Andrew Destin, and myself, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Penn State Sports Night. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.